This is the first iPhone release that has me genuinely excited. And I know that may be really surprising to hear from me, especially being an avid Android user. But seriously, this time around, Apple has finally put together a smartphone that I might actually be able to recommend for some people. So let me break down the top 5 most compelling features of the iPhone X. First is obviously the design. More specifically, I'm talking about the screen, which is the closest we've gotten to a true bezel-less design this year. The 5.8-inch screen stretches all the way to the top, bottom, left, and right, minus the cutout at the top of the screen. Also, we're finally seeing an OLED panel on an iPhone, and we also finally get a resolution that's pretty close to Quad HD. For the first time in a while, you get an iPhone display that doesn't feel like a downgrade from other Android flagships on the market. So next, let's talk about the relationship between hardware and software with the iPhone X. This relationship has always been one of the most compelling things about the iPhone, and with the iPhone X, it gets even better. Waking up the phone is easier because it now requires only a single tap on the screen, and the home button's functionality has been replaced with a swipe gesture. Beyond that, you're getting smoother and more reliable general performance with the iPhone X than most other Android phones because the hardware and software were made for each other. And while this certainly isn't new, it remains one of the most compelling features of the iPhone X. The third most compelling feature with the iPhone X is the camera, and on this phone we're getting dual 12-megapixel cameras, both with optical image stabilization, which besides a Note 8 is something that has never been seen before. Also, jumping back to the hardware-software relationship for a second, this phone can shoot in 4K, 60 frames per second, and slow-mo in 1080p at 240 frames per second, which is insane. The fourth most compelling feature is wireless charging, which in a way is directly related to the design. This batch of iPhones is the first to have glass backs instead of metal, which allows for wireless charging through the Qi wireless standard. And last but not least is the front-facing camera tech, which first of all brings face recognition to the iPhone X. Now, there are really two ways to look at this. The first is to say that face recognition is not new and is a blatant ripoff of the already not-so-secure face recognition built into a ton of Android smartphones already. The second way to look at things is to say that the facial recognition in other phones is far less advanced, and this time around Apple has taken the time and effort to create facial recognition that's more intuitive and more secure than any other form of facial recognition. So to be honest, both of those are actually true. Face ID is most likely not going to be more secure than your fingerprint or your irises, but at the same time it's more advanced than previous facial recognition methods in that it can't be fooled by a picture of you. With all that tech packed into the front-facing camera cutout, we also get portrait mode for the selfie camera, and portrait lighting, which basically adds artificial depth of field and a fake black background to your selfies. So those were the top 5 most compelling features of the iPhone X. Hopefully this video made it a little easier to decide whether or not you'll be purchasing this iPhone. Thankfully you do still have quite a bit of time to make up your mind, but either way, hopefully you enjoyed and learned something from this video. Make sure to subscribe to AeriumTV, and I will catch you guys in the next video.